Hello, my name is Nani and welcome to my channel where I share with you my top tips on how to look good, feel good, and smell good from the inside out. In today's video, we're talking all about smelling good. And so I want to go ahead and share with you some easy to wear, casual, everyday scents for men. And so of course, if you guys love fragrance videos and you love smelling good, you love talking about products, make sure that you go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. And of course, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so before we jump right into it, I just want to preface this video by saying that I hope you guys are staying safe with everything that's going on right now. It's weird because I was having a conversation with my brother. Just side note, I was having a conversation with my brother and we were like, you know, we hear or we read about like history and we hear about like people that's lived through, you know, pandemics and they've lived through wars and all types of stuff. And then it's like to hear the fact that it's like people are being quarantined and things like that, it's kind of crazy to see the progression of it. And it just makes you realize that life is very precious and we just need to learn to appreciate life in general and just appreciate one another just because things can happen at a drop of a dime. So I hope you guys are staying safe and of course washing your hands, which should have been a given anyways, but I hope you guys are definitely taking care of yourselves and your family and that this is not like hurting you or affecting you in any major ways. So, okay, so before I jump into the fragrances that I want to mention to you guys, I just want to mention kind of like the similarities amongst all of these fragrances. As I mentioned, these are perfect for casual wear. These are scents that you can wear with the jeans and a t-shirt, a button down and some jeans or whatever the case may be. Just very simple to wear, not overly complex scents. They are also all non-offensive fragrances, so you can wear them to work, you can wear them, you know, on an outing. You can pretty much transition these scents from daytime to nighttime, and these are also scents that work year-round. So those are going to be pretty much the similarities amongst all the fragrances that I'm going to mention to you, but I'm going to go ahead and start off with my number 7. I've talked about this fragrance before. You guys probably already have this in your fragrance collection already, and the reason that it's my number 7 honestly is just because the longevity, it sucks. Okay, it's that simple, it sucks. And that's going to be Choo Man. I love the way that this fragrance smells, but as I mentioned to you guys, the longevity is really not that good on this scent at all. And that is why it's definitely on my number 7. But every time I think of casual wear, this fragrance definitely comes to mind just because it's such a simple and easy scent to wear. This has pineapple, it has lavender, it has melon, it has suede. So it does have some very interesting notes, but as I mentioned, it just doesn't last on the skin for as long as I would prefer it to. And like I mentioned, I thought that it was going to be a bolder scent than it actually is, but it's perfect for a casual, everyday type of thing. It doesn't transform into like a complex scent. It's very simple. It actually kind of like starts the way that it finishes. So it's more of a linear fragrance. This definitely has kind of like a sweet, fruity type of opening, but it doesn't stay that way, and it definitely doesn't smell feminine in any way. So I do like how easy and versatile this fragrance obviously is. As I mentioned, it's just kind of like a year-round fragrance, and what I find is that the suede and the pink pepper pretty much kind of like as it lingers on your body, it does give it kind of like a rich boldness to it, which makes it a little bit more of an important scent. But as I mentioned, it does not last on your skin for a long time. You're probably going to get 2 to 3 hours of wear out of this. So this is going to be one of those fragrances that I recommend that you take with you if you are planning on having kind of like a longer day. So that's going to be, again, Choo Man. The next fragrance that I want to mention to you is going to be pretty much one of my all-time favorite kind of like casual, everyday type of scents for my husband. And this is going to be the Versace Band Eau Fresh. I love the packaging. I've done an exclusive review on this scent before. If you guys haven't checked that out, I've pretty much done a review on the Choo Man, and I also did an exclusive review on this as well. So I'll make sure to have a card pop out as I'm talking about the scent itself. Now this scent is a little bit different from the Choo Man because of the fact that the opening itself is a little bit fresher. I do find that it's kind of like just a little bit more of like a fresher, citrusy, a little bit of a floral type of opening. But again, floral, not in the sense where it's like a feminine fragrance in any way. So I do like the fact that this one is a little bit different. It's a little bit more interesting from the get-go, in my opinion. It isn't one of those like extremely transformative fragrances. I do enjoy the fact that the longer that it lasts on your skin, it just turns a little bit kind of like warmer, a little bit more of like a cozy type of scent. Perfect for close encounters as well if you are trying to kind of like cuddle up with your, you know, significant other. And I also feel like this is going to be one of those scents that would work well as well for small gatherings, something that would work well for like church or something like that. It's just like an easy to wear everyday type of scent, but there's a little bit more of a masculinity to this fragrance just because it has notes like amber, it has musk, it has saffron, it has kind of like more woody notes, it has cedar, so it gives it a little bit more of a masculine edge to it. And this one definitely does last a little bit longer because of those notes, I believe, because they're more of like in the base. The woody notes definitely help with the longevity of this scent. In terms of the longevity, you're probably going to get maybe 5-6 hours of wear out of this, maybe even a little bit more, especially if you spray it on your clothes. But on the skin, it still pretty much lingers beautifully. It projects beautifully on your skin. But these pretty much are kind of like casual, fresh, sweet type of scent. So they don't have a huge sillage or anything like that. They do sit pretty close to the skin, but they will still radiate beautifully in close proximity. And like I mentioned, this definitely has kind of like a masculine edge to it because of the woody notes in the base. So again, this is going to be Versace Man Eau Fresh. I feel like this scent is definitely popular for a reason, and I just absolutely love it. It's just a perfect year-round everyday scent. Even though it's kind of like in a blue package, you would think that it's only kind of reserved for summertime, but honestly, this is a year-round fragrance in my opinion. So again, that's going to be Versace Man Eau Fresh. Now the next scent that I want to mention to you is going to be this JeanJacques Unforgivable. This is definitely a celebrity fragrance that I think that everybody should definitely have in their collection. I did do a comparison between this one and the Jay-Z Gold. So if you guys want to see that, again, click the card right here. But this is, to me, I feel like one that's classic for an everyday, year-round type of scent. It definitely isn't a season-specific fragrance at all. And it's also one of those fragrances that I also do feel like, as I mentioned with all of these, they transition beautifully from daytime to nighttime. In terms of the notes of this one has green mandarin, birch leaf, juniper, lavender, and tonka bean. But I do find that in the opening, you definitely get more of a fresh citrus type of opening, which I feel like all of them are very similar in that sense. They do have kind of like a very inviting, very welcoming, very fresh type of opening, which just makes it easy for you to wear. But when it kind of dries down on your skin, that's when you get more of like an interesting type of element to the scent. And with this, I do find that it does have a little bit of a sweetness to it, but not sweet to where it smells feminine in any way. But I feel like the sweetness, it definitely comes from the lavender note in this fragrance for sure. This to me is definitely a likable scent. It has a little bit of a sweetness to it, as I mentioned, but it also has kind of like a clean, fresh, soapy type of nature to it. It's very inviting, very welcoming, very easy to wear. And as I mentioned, this is definitely one of those scents that, because it also has tonka bean, it has this kind of like smooth creaminess to it, which makes it a little bit more sensual and makes it perfect as well for like intimate settings and kind of like an intimate occasion with your significant other. So this is definitely one of those scents that I feel like is a perfect cuddle up type of scent, but it smells amazing when you're dressed up casually, or even if you're dressed up, you know, trying to go out and trying to impress, if that makes sense. So again, that's going to be JeanJacques Unforgivable. Now the next scent that I want to mention to you is going to be another cheapie, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about this scent, but I do feel like it's definitely an underrated cologne for men, and this is going to be Kenneth Cole's RSVP. And this is what it looks like. I like the packaging itself. In terms of this fragrance, I feel like this one, out of all of the ones that I'm mentioning to you, has a little bit more of like a richer, kind of like more interesting, deeper type of notes to it, just because the base has a lot of wood. So it has notes like patchouli, it has vetiver, it has sandalwood, it has iris in this fragrance as well. It has cashmere notes as well. And I do also get a lavender note in this as well, which again, I've mentioned to you guys before that I absolutely love lavender in general, and I love lavender in fragrances, especially in cologne. It gives it kind of like this sweet, aromatic, just sensual type of nature to it without smelling too feminine, and I absolutely love that, just because I feel like it makes it more intoxicating but still makes it a scent that's easy to wear, and also just a very inviting type of scent, just perfect for like close encounters. And I do feel like in the opening, you definitely get a little bit more of a freshness to this scent, but it also still has kind of like this very sexy type of element to it. Out of all of the ones that I'm mentioning, This one smells more masculine in my opinion, and this one smells a little bit more sexy in my opinion. All of the other ones are kind of like simple, easy to wear everyday scents, but this one I feel like has a little bit more going on. It has a sweetness, it has a freshness to it, but it has kind of like this warm, musky, sensual but sexy type of vibe to it as well. I think that this is definitely an underrated scent, and in terms of longevity, you'll basically get probably like 6-7 hours of wear out of this as well. You'll probably get even more if you spray it on your clothes, but on your skin you'll get like 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours. And I feel like this is definitely probably one of the, they're all pretty affordable, but I feel like this one is definitely a very cheap fragrance out of all of the ones that I'm mentioning to you as well. And like I mentioned, the longevity is there, the projection is there, the sillage of this scent is there as well, and it just transforms beautifully from daytime to nighttime. This one is definitely, out of all of the ones that I'm mentioning to you, the one that I would probably recommend to you the most if you are trying to do like a date night type of situation, just because there's a little bit more going on. It's a little bit more masculine, it's a little bit sexier, but it still has kind of like that sensual, creamy type of vibe to it, because it does still have lavender in this as well. So this is honestly an underrated scent in my opinion, and I feel like every man definitely needs to have this in his collection. So again, that's going to be Kenneth Cole RSVP, and I believe this is the eau de toilette. I'll make sure to include the information down below. So again, this is going to be another favorite. Now the next fragrance I want to mention to you is going to be a fragrance that you probably already have in your collection, and this is going to be the Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Eau de Toilette. And of course you can purchase the Eau Extreme. That one is kind of like, to me, just reserved for like summertime, just because it's more of an aquatic scent. But this one I feel like definitely has a little bit more going on than that one. This version of this fragrance I feel like definitely smells better for like everyday use. It has a mandarin note in it, which is definitely prominent, especially in the opening, and it kind of lingers on your skin throughout the time that it's on your that it's basically on your skin itself. So it has a bergamot note, it has a mandarin note, but in the base it also does have like a musk, it has oak moss in it, it has some incense in it as well. You definitely get more of like a peppery, musky, earthiness to this fragrance, but it's not overly done. I feel like definitely the sweetness in the mandarin helps to balance it out to where it doesn't smell offensive in any way. And I do feel like this one is perfect for a casual jeans and a t-shirt type of thing. And I also feel like this is probably one of those scents that you can also dress up a little bit. You can wear kind of like a nice button down. You can even wear this with like a nice button down and like some slacks or something like that. I feel like you can definitely dress this scent up a little bit more. The Eau Extreme, that one is more of like an aquatic type of thing. It's a little bit more citrusy, so I feel like that one's definitely reserved more for summertime. But this one is definitely one that you can wear year round. As I mentioned, you definitely get the burst of the citrus, a little bit of a tartness from the mandarin. You get a little bit of the pepper notes in here. And in the base, you get definitely the musk and the oak moss in this scent. I don't get too much of like an incense type of vibe of this fragrance, but I do feel like the musk and the oak moss definitely gives it its masculinity, and it definitely helps with the longevity of this fragrance as well. In terms of the longevity of this scent, this is definitely gonna last more than 6-7 hours on your skin, so I absolutely love it for that as well. So again, this one's a little bit more musky, a little bit more earthy. It does have a little bit more of like a tart mandarin type of note in it as well, but I feel like it does help to balance out the scent, which gives it a little bit of added character as well as added masculinity to the fragrance as well. So again, that's going to be Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Eau de Toilette. Now the next scent that I want to mention to you is going to be my number 2, and this is going to be Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Cologne. And this is the Eau de Toilette version. Yes, this is the Eau de Toilette version. I did do a recent fragrance review on this scent as well, and I do feel like this is definitely one of those that every man should have in his collection because of the fact that it's versatile, but there is an almond note in this. It's not as prominent in the Eau de Toilette as it is in the Eau de Parfum, but I feel like the almond note definitely gives it more of a casual vibe to this scent. For whatever reason, I feel like it just gives me more of like a casual type of nature. So whether you are kind of like going out to, I don't know, like a barbecue, or of course perfect for like spring and summer as well. But I feel like if you're doing something like outdoorsy, for whatever reason, this definitely gives me that type of vibe. It has orange in it, it has bergamot, it has pink pepper. It also has an almond note in this. Again, this one is a little bit more aromatic, it's pungent. When it dries down on your skin, you definitely get more of like a woody type of element to the scent. So as I mentioned, it's still a masculine fragrance, but it isn't the most masculine out of the ones that I'm mentioning to you. But it's a very light, airy, woody, earthy, aromatic type of fragrance. Again, the almond note is not as prominent in this fragrance, but I feel like the almond note definitely gives it kind of like a nice edge to it. It's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit gourmand-like, not a full gourmand scent, but it's a little bit sweet, a little bit aromatic, it's a little bit earthy, as I mentioned, but it's a very easy to wear scent, and I feel like this one definitely, the eau de toilette version definitely is a lot better for daytime. In terms of the longevity of this scent, you will also get maybe 5-6 hours of wear out of this as well. It's very kind of like fresh and clean, but it has kind of like this, I don't know what it is, but the almond note kind of smells a little bit powdery, a little bit musky, a little bit earthy. But I think that that's what pretty much makes this scent just easy to wear and just makes it a little bit more interesting to wear as well. So again, that's going to be Guerlain L'Homme Idéal Cologne Eau de Toilette. In terms of my number one, it is going to be this right here, which is Varvatos Artisan Pure. Now, you guys know that I love the Varvatos Artisan Cologne. I've mentioned that plenty of times to you guys before. And I do feel like that scent is definitely more of a like spring, summer type of scent. But the Artisan, I'll do a separate video just comparing the two. I'll just do that. But the Artisan Pure, I feel like definitely is the everyday version of that line, if that makes sense. This one has a clean, soapy, shower gel type of note to it. I don't know what it is, but the combination of everything, it just kind of smells like a fresh out the shower type of scent. Easy to wear, but I do also feel like this one smells a little bit classier, a little bit more elegant. There's something about this scent that I feel like would still smell amazing if you dress it up as well. Even though I feel like it would work well for like a casual type of jeans and a t-shirt type of vibe, I do feel like this is also one of those scents that would work well if you are trying to do like a suit and tie type of situation. It's very inviting, very welcoming, very easy to wear, and it's just a non-offensive fragrance. And there's like this clean shower gel masculinity to it. I don't know how else to describe it, but I will make sure to do an exclusive fragrance review on this, comparing it to the Artisan, just to give you guys kind of like the differences between the two. But I do feel like this is definitely one of those that would work perfectly for an everyday type of for everyday use. So again, that's going to be Varvatos Artisan Pure. It's sweet, it's aromatic, it's fresh, it's clean. It smells kind of like shower gel. It smells very masculine at the same time. And it is one of those scents that you can dress casually. And it's also one of those that I think would work well if you do try to dress it up as well. So this is going to be my number one for a casual, everyday, year-round type of scent. So those are going to be pretty much my final thoughts on all of the fragrances that I think are perfect for like a casual, everyday use. Of course, let me know down in the comment section below if you guys agree with my list, if you guys have any of these fragrances yourself and how you guys personally feel about them. Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning into another video. If you enjoyed, make sure that you give me a big thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you guys have an awesome day. God willing, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.